Hi, Jean. How are you?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yeah, me too. I'm so grateful for your presence with us. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi there. So good to be here.
Yes, it's been a blessing to feel having this opportunity to interview all of you and amazing authors of the Illness Universe 25 Tools for Life, this new book that we released about 2 weeks ago. And it's
Yes.
been so amazing. We are already bestseller. People can have the copy on our link in our bio and go directly to Amazon. Please, we are more than happy that have the review of you as well. Can review for us. And today, Jean and Jennifer, to finish the series, I'm so grateful, so happy. First, I would like you to introduce yourselves, talk about your work, what you've been doing.
Jean, you want to go first or should I?
Sure, I'll go first.
Great.
I'm Jean Forstart. I'm an expressive arts therapist and a credentialed teacher in all of the arts, music, writing, drama, dance, all that stuff. And I'm just so thrilled to be here with you today. And Claudia, I just want to tell you that I've been watching all of your interviews and you do a fabulous job. And it's an honor to be here with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And my name is Jennifer Moore, and I am the author of Empathic Mastery and also the author of my newest book, Empathic Evolution. And I am a master trainer for EFTi International and also a fairy godmother for empaths. My work is all about navigating life as a highly sensitive person who's picking up all the thoughts, feelings, energy, and sensations that are coming from the world around us, and learning how to use our sensitivity and our gifts to make a difference in the world instead of just completely getting just drowning in the intensity, which right now it's even more the case than I think it was before. And the work that I did, my chapter, is all about how to silence toxic self-talk using EFT. So I can't wait to talk with you guys, and I am honored to be here with you, Claudia.
Amazing. Yeah, we have a lot of people join us. Hello,
Yeah.
Hassan. Hello, Anna. Hello, Jeanette. Since I'm talking to them, I'm going to send this live for more people to join us. One, two, three, four, five, six. Call everyone because we have this amazing conversation with these two unique people. And I am grateful for the tools you've been sharing with the book. As I've been telling here, I use the book as oracle for me, like whenever I have a chance. So let's see what the universe brings for me today. Because I feel like every day we can move like and step further towards our goals and be our best version. So I am grateful for the tools. And I'm going to go dive in, Jennifer, since I already talked about your chapter. How can you silence that voice? Because we know that we can be our best friends or our worst enemy. How we can like silence this voice? Because you know also the neuroscience, all this, everything that we already know and being studying our brain, 80% of our thoughts are negative. And it's something that's not going to change because this is the way our brain were programmed to do it. But whenever we acknowledge this, we know how it works, we can use in our own benefit and try to change this or shift, even you saying that I love this, try to silence or even to turning down the volume and try to listen to the other voice that would say, no, you can do it. You're good at that.
Yeah.
At this.
Yeah. Well, so it's sort of funny because the idea or the title of silencing toxic self-talk, the kind of the paradox is that the way that we silence it is not by trying to suppress it. The way that we silence it is not by trying to basically like override it or gloss over with like all these positive affirmations and just kind of be like, just quiet, be quiet. The way that ultimately and I guess I would say we soothe the toxic self-talk is that we acknowledge it, that we actually give it a voice, and we take some time to sit with it and we listen to what are these messages. Because the thing is, whether we acknowledge them or not, they are, as you were saying, 80% of the thoughts that are going on in our mind all the time are often toxic and negative. And what's amazing is that we don't, but they're just running under the surface constantly. They're affecting us constantly, but we try to ignore them. And so the paradox of this is that we really need to honor them and acknowledge them before we can quiet them. So the trick to silencing toxic self-talk is actually listening to it, acknowledging it, and giving it some space.
Amazing. It's like you're saying, if I don't pay attention, it gets stronger because you're talking about the unconscious mind, and they're there for a reason, right? They're like maybe try to protect us.
Right, exactly. Well, and there's that saying, what we resist persists. You know, anytime we start pushing against something and pushing away. And I've been recently listening to Mel Robbins' book, Let Them, which if you guys have not listened to this book, it is mwah, chef's kiss.
Mhm.
And one of the things that she's talking about is just the neuroscience of the way our brains work is that whenever we pressure ourselves to try to do something, the natural tendency of human beings is to push back. Like we will, you know, it's like if somebody's like, you have to stop thinking these negative thoughts, then it's almost like we will think those negative thoughts even more.
Yeah, amazing. I love that you mentioned Mel Robbins because I think like 2 weeks ago, Apple just released that she's on the top one of the podcasts around the U.S. So what you're doing here, we're talking about some topics that people want to listen about it. So that's one of our goals here at the Wellness Universe as well. Bring it up, as you're saying, acknowledge, raise awareness for people to get to know more about them, self-knowledge, know yourself, know about the things that you can dive in to have a better life.
Absolutely.
And Jean, your book, it's about the more creative arts and the pain from pain to gain. I feel like this state of presence, being in the moment, also it's like a combination for you to not get away about, as Jennifer was explaining to us, not silent that thoughts, but maybe try to increase the positive thoughts. Try to make us being this present a moment and be more connected to things that we already know that we are good at, and that make us feel better and feel more motivated with positive energy, positive vibes.
Yes, and I love what you were both saying about acknowledging. That's just such an important part of my work. I'm an expressive arts therapist and specializing in grief, pain, and trauma.
Mm,
And I totally agree with what both of you are saying. We have to, what I do is I say, we feel, reveal, and heal. We have to feel it. And I also say, we face, embrace, and replace. So we face the fear, grief, trauma, whatever it is, face it, embrace it, love it, bring love into the room with it, but feel it at the same time. Don't just try to bring the love in and forget about it. Goodbye, no, it's bringing both in at the same time and having that experience. And then what we're replacing is not the fear or the grief or the pain, because it's our friend. It helps us. We're replacing our reaction to it. We're replacing what we're doing to avoid it, and we're replacing that with the expressive arts, something expressive. Also, um, people that are really involved with sports, such as you know how important it is, and other activities. But for me, it's the expressive arts. It's so safe, it's so accessible. We can do it. You don't have to have a saxophone, or you don't have to have a tutu and be dancing ballet. You can do expressive arts very easily with just basic things you have at home, just dancing around the room. And I see children, my granddaughter, very shortly after she was born, she was just naturally engaged in all of the arts, dramatic arts, play, just starting singing, tapping, just no one taught her that. The music comes on, she just starts dancing, she's playful. This is our natural way to get those feelings out. And I work with people that have been severely traumatized or living with chronic pain. And this is such a safe way to work with that without drugs. It's lots of research showing how safe and effective it is.
And Jane, I have to say that what I love the most about you is that even though you've been through such hard moments in your life, you have this big smile, you have this positive attitude.
Oh,
So,
thank
and
you.
it makes us like right now, everything you're saying just make me feel like as you are hugging me, and I hope people that are watching us right now, they feel the same.
Yeah, this is real. I have the mother lode of trauma in every different direction. And you read my story. It's kind of unbelievable, some of it. But I had to learn, and if you read the story, somebody said to me, Jean, I know what you need. And I said, well, what? And she said, you need joy. And I almost felt like, how dare you say that to me? You don't know anything about me. What do you mean? But she was right, because she was like radiating energetically all this joy all the time. And I thought I slapped a smile on my face, whatever. I thought I knew what joy was, but I really didn't know what joy is, that you can access it all the time, even when you're living with chronic pain, which I am. And even no matter what, you can go to that place. And it's all about that base embrace, that you have to go there. You have to feel it and love it. You have to choose that. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You
Thank
both were saying about acknowledge our feelings and the process we've been through in order to heal. And I have a feeling that when you write about your story, not just showing your vulnerability, but being facing this. Oh, I've been through that. How was for you during this the moment that you're writing your chapter for this book? A process of healing as well. How do you think about this?
Oh my gosh, writing the chapter,
Yes.
I am so grateful for this book, and the Wellness Universe. What a wonderful group, everybody at the Wellness Universe, and this collaborative effort. Just, oh, thank you so much. This collaborative effort that we did, that we accomplished, 25 experts. And, when you buy the book, you're getting all this, and gifts from everybody, but just the authors, of which I'm one of them, the co-authors, writing it, going through that transformational journey, as you mentioned, Claudia, that is so healing. And I know that the people that read it feel that way too, because if you're going through something, whatever it is, you can bet that there's somebody in here that wrote something that you're going to identify with, because there's so many different things in there that will speak. One of them or many of them will probably speak to you. But yes, I agree with you, Claudia. Just that processing and going through it was very healing. And I'm so, so grateful. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Jennifer?
So when I decided to write this chapter, I had originally thought I was going to write about grief because my mom died on Valentine's Day just not even a year ago. But then I suddenly realized that the most important thing I could talk about was the negative self-talk and all of the self-doubt and the impact, especially that bullying has on us as, from childhood. And I decided that I was going to be as vulnerable as I could possibly be. And I was not going to try to sugarcoat things, and I was not going to try to like curate the experience or write about like try to come across like I looked good. And so I wrote a piece of my story that was really painful And I was so humiliated even thinking about sharing the story. Like it was so embarrassing and it was so awful. And I'll just say for the listeners who haven't read the story, it's involving dog poop, and neighborhood kids and hair. So it was a really, really uncomfortable situation. And the most amazing thing was that I mean, I'm 62 years old at this point. This happened to me when I was 5 or 6 years old. I had never been able to tell anybody about this experience. I had never been able to talk about it. I mean, I told some people, but it was not something that I was like happy to admit. And so writing this story was absolutely amazing because it completely took the all of the power away from it, and it took the wind out of its sails. And at one point, after I had sent the story and Anna read it, she's like, "Oh my God, Jennifer, I had a really similar experience." And I think that that's the thing about writing these stories is that, and writing our stories and sharing our experience, is that it takes the power away from something that has had a lot of power. And two, it also helps us to recognize that we're not alone and that even if it feels like nobody else has ever gone through this thing that I've gone through, the truth is many people have. And so I really found that the process of writing this story allowed me to be more transparent, more willing to share the mess, and ultimately, it really feels like the writing of the chapter did exactly what the point of the chapter was. So it was really powerful, and I'm deeply grateful that I had the opportunity to do that. Yeah.
Amazing. We're having some comments here. Anna says, thank you so much for sharing the secret story with us. Jeanette, it is so healing for us to write our stories.
Yeah,
Yes.
story writing is one of the creative arts, expressive arts tools, very powerful tool, journaling. And just as you said, digging down and releasing all that through writing is such a healing process. And then that next step of sharing it with someone else takes it to another level. So grateful for these books that do that. And it's a win-win, the people reading it and the people doing writing it. It's just
Amazing.
healing all around. And I noticed that many of the people in the book, I use that as a tool to share with others to encourage them to do journaling. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, we know that Anna is our creative mind about the Wellness Universe, and she and Laura is already preparing the next book, 25 Tools for Transformation. So if you have a story that you want to share with
Good.
us, reach out to us here in DM. We'll be more than happy to know more about it, and maybe you can join us to the next book and be even here with us in these interviews. So diving in a little bit more about your story, Jennifer, it's interesting because you're saying about a situation that happened in your
Yeah.
childhood in a context that we don't even know about this name bullying because it's so recent, right?
Right.
It's something that
Right. Right.
how do you through your process do you organize? Oh, that was where I lived at. Like there was a bullying. When you name it, do you think it's getting easier as well? I don't know if easier is the same best thing, but it's kind of more smooth the process. I don't know.
I mean, I was aware, like the idea of mean kids is something I think we've all been aware of for a really long time. And what doing the work using EFT particularly has allowed me to go from thinking there was something wrong with me, that I was broken, that I brought this on myself. Because I think one of the things that happens so often with bullying or with abuse is that the victim is blamed for the perpetrator's bad behavior. And we will often think that if we had changed our behavior, or if we had done something different, or if we had had just, I don't know, like said things in a different way, that somehow that wouldn't have happened to us. And what for me, using EFT and working with both the negative self-talk, the negative messages, and just giving them voice by tapping on them and expressing them allowed me to start to unpack it. But then where it really, really was able to shift for me was by tapping on the specific event and tapping on the memory of the experience and using, excuse me, I'm getting a little scratchy in my throat. I'm going to sip. Something about this time of the afternoon. Anyway, using the tapping on the specific memory, what happened for me was I was able to shift from experiencing it or thinking that I could have been different or there was something about me to recognizing that this was about them, that this was about their bad behavior, that this was about that this was about their choices. And I really just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I think that if there's one thing that I think can be incredibly empowering when it comes to navigating abusive behavior and aggressive behavior and bullying behavior, it is realizing or recognizing it's like taking, and I think we're living in a culture right now where there's an incredible amount of bullying going on and a lot of dominant behavior that thinks that if they're just pushy enough, they're going to get their way. And part of the way we get disempowered is by thinking it's about us, by thinking that there's something we're doing to bring it on. And I think that when we can say, no, this has nothing to do with me, I'm just doing my thing. This is about you and your bad choices. There's a way in which we take our power back, but we also turn the mirror towards the person whose behavior is unacceptable
Yeah.
and sort of be like, you're the one who needs to change, not me. And that was huge for me to be able to say, these kids were the jerks. These kids were the ones who were doing these things that were completely inappropriate. I just happened to be a very, very young child without a whole lot and very naive and sweet and just like loving everybody, and just completely unprepared for the situation. But it really was about them, not me. So I hope that answered your question.
I mean, yeah, definitely. And the child tends to blame themselves. They tend to feel guilty about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think even as adults, we tend to
Yeah.
blame ourselves and feel guilty that, and that so often our culture does this victim blaming and turns the focus on, well, if you only did this, or if you had a stronger boundary, even the whole, if you have stronger boundaries, if you just were stronger or firmer and said no. And sometimes it's like, it's not about us. It's about the fact that somebody is behaving very inappropriately, and it's really on them.
Yeah, there is this sentence that I love that I think it's really powerful, and that's combines what you're saying about it. Put the mirror of the person and says, "I'm not what you think I am. You are what you think I
Yeah,
am."
yeah, yeah. The old saying with the child from childhood, I'm rubber, you're glue. Everything that you say bounces off me and sticks to you. But there's a lot to be said for that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Jane, how like you're saying 3 minutes trauma transformation. So how it's this tool specifically? Can you dive in and say it's like it takes me only 3 minutes daily to change my life?
Yes. Well, again, it's about identifying your pain, what's happening, feeling. So there's 1 minute of that, feeling with the physical, emotional, whatever it is, identifying that with a couple of words. This specific exercise is involving a piece of paper and a pen. So you're writing those down and tuning in and actually feeling that and really going deep, really feeling that. And then identifying that and then revealing it through the arts. You can link it with an experience and remember, well, okay, maybe I lost my job. Maybe for me, it was a trauma, multiple traumas. I was assaulted by a doctor, a policeman, and my teacher, people who I respected. And so, as you were saying, very difficult for me not to blame me, the people I looked up to. So identify feelings, identify the situation, revealing that, and drawing and writing words to identify that. So maybe the words that I feel are uh, ashamed, or maybe I feel a headache. It could be physical, mental, emotional. But then when you're drawing with your eyes shut, you're going somewhere and expressing that pain. And then you're also drawing a positive place of embracing. Maybe it's a river, maybe brings you peace. Maybe it's a memory with your grandmother. But you don't have to draw. The goal in expressive arts is not the final product of the art. It's the journey. So you're journeying. You could just be scribbling and getting the feelings out, but you're putting your attention there. And each one of those feel, reveal, and heal through the final arts. And what I did at the end was, after you express that, then you put it immersively into your body by, you can stand up, you can move through it, you can imagine your golden spiritual body of light and walking through that, or you can actually literally stand up and imagine and walk through that and accepting who you are as soul, a beautiful radiant being of love, and just bringing all that in to you. So that's that healing final piece. Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. Yeah, it's like a ritual.
It's what did you
Like a
say?
ritual, like the moment that you take for yourself and be connected.
Yeah.
And because I
Yeah.
feel like nowadays you're so in automatic pilot, like you have so many tasks to do, not to mention the life, it's so in a hush, and we are always like in social media, and and you never have a moment for ourselves. So
Oh,
that's
so
the moment
important.
that
Yeah. Yeah. So important to take time out and just feel
Mhm.
and fill ourselves up with the many blessings. And you were talking about that mirror, flipping the mirror toward the person. I think that is important to uh, do that, but also take it a step further. After we do that and protect ourselves and say, hey, this is you, not me. For me, I need to find the blessings in that person. I need to find gratitude, even though it might be horrific or whatever. I need to find that in order to totally heal. So I have to go farther than just saying, hey, you're nuts, whatever. I don't want, yeah. But what was the gift that I got from that person? How can I empower myself from this journey and what just happened, and from this horrible pain or attack or assault or whatever I went through? Um, what is that, and what is the something golden quality about that person? And self-talk about me too. What
Mhm.
do I love about my migraine headache right now? What do I love about something nasty in myself that I just realized that I'm a complainer? What do I love about that? So whenever there's something negative, it's that extra step of learning to love all of it. That's how we find that key to living in joy all the time. That's what I do with my clients.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's the moment that we say, like nowadays, we're saying, oh, I'm grateful, and gratitude. Some people don't understand what being grateful really mean. And I
Yeah.
think like that's the highest moment for you to be grateful for. Like, even though you're doing this, I don't know, not to me, but you have this kind of behave. I am grateful because this situation is teaching me something. It's made me feel in contact with a feeling that for my whole life I was trying to hide. And now with you, I'm able to see that and getting in touch with that and being better for myself and for the people I'm surrounded by.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and Jennifer, do you want to dive in more about your tool specifically? I know you talk about your story and the how it can silence this voice, but just dive in a little bit more about your
I'd
tool.
love to. So the tool that I share in the book is called EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques. It's also known as tapping. And this the simplest way to explain it is to say that it's like mental emotional acupuncture without the needles. And so what we do is we think about an issue, something that's going on. If it's, say, it's a negative voice inside of our head, you'll never amount to anything, or you're so stupid, or, who do you think you are? What we can do is we can actually move through these endpoints on the meridians on our body as we tap and acknowledge. So it starts with basically tapping on the side of the hand and doing what's called the setup. Even though there's a part of me that thinks I am really stupid. And then we offer a balance statement. I deeply and completely love and accept myself, or I'm open to the possibility that this can shift. And we do this, what's called the setup, the even though this issue, I love myself anyway. We do that 3 times. And then we move through the tapping points. Some people will start at the top of the head. Some people will start at the eyebrow points. I like starting at the top of the head because it feels like it's following gravity. So we just
Mhm.
start at the top of the head and we use what's called a reminder phrase like this feeling, or feeling stupid, or this self-doubt, whatever it is that we're tapping on, or this memory, the time when the kids put dog poop in my hair. And we tap on it and we just move through the points, like that time, this feeling of feeling stupid. And we stick to a very specific thing. We stick to the one issue. We don't go all around the place. We move through all the points, which are top of the head, eyebrow points, side of the eyes, under the nose, under the lip, collarbone points, under the arm, and then back to the top of the head. And then we take a deep breath and just assess and see how it is. Because in addition to acknowledging it, what we also will do is we'll rate it. So like when I start, if I'm dealing with a painful memory, maybe on a scale of 0 to 10, it started with it being like a 7 or an 8.
Mhm.
And I tap through one round and I check in and it's like, oh, now it's down to a 5. It feels more like a distant memory. It feels like a distant photograph. And by doing that, what we do is we acknowledge it and we just keep on sort of moving through, tapping a round at a time until we're down as low as it can go. And generally, what that means is we want to get it to below a 2, because usually, if it's still got some energy in it, there's still things to acknowledge and tap on. It is the beautiful thing about EFT is that you don't have to go back into any of the memories. You don't have to go into any of the negative language. You can find very gentle, very neutral words
Mhm.
to express what's going on. And the beautiful thing about this is that it is a self-help technique that you can do for yourself. And like Jean's technique, which is about 3 minutes, you can really shift energy in like 3 to 5 minutes. And if you have 10 or 15 minutes with tapping, miracles can happen. And if it's a really deep, complicated thing, working with a practitioner like me or many of my students, you have the opportunity to go much, much deeper in like 45-minute to 90-minute, depending on how somebody works, session, where it's like we just keep peeling away the layers of the onion and allowing all of those distortions and misperceptions and emotionally charged memories
Mhm.
to neutralize and dissipate. Um, I discovered this tool uh, back in the early aughts. And I can honestly say, of all of the tools, because I've been training as a healer and an energy worker since I was in my mid-20s, and I have never found a tool that is more effective, that is more gentle, and that has yielded sustainable, lasting results for me. So I'm a total convert. I absolutely love it. And, which is why I have now participated in 3 Wellness Universe books writing about this tool because I love it so much.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
say that it's very trendy right now. Thank God, right? You
Yeah.
see so many artists, they are doing so many videos on Instagram. Each people can do by their own, how often they have to do it, how long they have to do it.
Are you asking how long or
Yes,
how often?
yeah, yes.
That's so personal. What I would say is some people love to tap every single day. Some people get up in the morning and they tap in the morning and then they tap at the end of the day. Some people are more inclined to tap when they feel something is coming up and it
Mhm.
feels like it's appropriate. The pacing or the length of time is, again, very individual. Like you can get a result from just starting with one round of tap, one setup, and just moving through the tapping points, even that one time can help to shift the energy. So, what I would say is, I think the most important thing when it comes to tapping is experimenting and feeling into it and finding what works for you. And so, if there's anything I would say is self honesty, just acknowledging, like, this is what works for me. The wonderful thing about EFT is that it is, it's a it is a very simple tool, and it's also a tool that can be customized very just broadly because it addresses and works with every single unique individual. And so really leaning into our own personal experience, using our own personal language, feeling into what is my truth and giving that space with tapping is really what I think is the key. So I wish I could say, here's the formula, like tap in the morning, tap at night, like tap for 15 minutes every single day. But the beautiful thing is it has way more flexibility than that. And because of that flexibility, I think that's part of what makes it work so beautifully and so well. Yeah.
I love that because like people maybe if you have like you have to do this twice every day for 30 minutes and a person like, no, I don't have time for this.
No, no. And if you're feeling resistance, one of the
Yeah,
wonderful things too is tapping on the resistance.
love
Even
it.
though I so don't want to tap right now, even though I think that this is completely stupid and it's not going to do anything for me, I'm open to the possibility that this can shift. I'm willing to love myself anyway. I'm willing to try this. And there's something about just like, instead of trying to force ourselves, which goes back to the beginning of what we were talking about,
Hmm.
instead of trying to deny or ignore things and just gloss over, we have to start with the acknowledgement. And then from the acknowledgement, just like that, we must embrace it before we can replace it, to quote Jean. And I think that, that's the beautiful thing about EFT is that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's sort of like just show up. There's a saying, done is better than perfect. And when it comes to EFT, that is absolutely true. Done is better than perfect.
Amazing. Like even the acronym, it's emotional freedom technique. So and
Yes.
everything you make to get away from your freedom, right? It's not good for you. So it's not about respond all the time. You have to do it, but embrace your freedom and your free will to do what you want for your life. And I would add to that, I think that's a moment for you to be in the present and connect your emotions with your body because our body is so intelligent. We might not be perfect as human beings, but our body is perfect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's so much wisdom in our body. And and I think all of us here are all like the core, at least what my takeaway from today is that embracing embracing ourselves and being present with ourselves
Mhm.
really is it's the way through. It's the portal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Actually, I would ask you girls to leave a message for all our audience that right now is watching us, or even people that are gonna watch us later. Uh, so you're right. I think this is something that we already said. You want to add something to that, Jen?
I would just say that you are exactly where you need to be, right here, right now. You are perfect exactly as you are. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of joy. You are worthy of respect. And just keep going. Keep breathing. Keep putting one foot in front of another. You got this.
Love it. Jen, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that life can be tough. It can be painful and difficult and sad and all of these different feelings, but just know that you have everything inside of you to get through it. And the first step is acknowledging where you are right now and loving that and accepting it, and then opening yourself to the limitless possibilities that are here for you, and the beauty, brilliance, and bravery that you have within yourself. Just embrace that and step forward into your brilliance. I acknowledge you and I appreciate you and I applaud you. I'm here for you.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I appreciate you girls. You're so amazing. Thank you so much for the
We are
opportunity.
Oh, thank
we are
you.
kindred souls, Jennifer and I. We
Yeah.
we are on the same wavelength, and I
Well,
I
appreciate
and
you.
can
Jean,
feel
I
it.
have to say, you mentioned the doctor and doctor assault. I'm just like, yep,
Yes,
been there, done that. Yeah,
that
yeah,
was a big one.
yeah.
Jeanette was
So I'm like, oh
said
my
that was
goodness.
would be Jeanette said it would be the Chin and the Jen show
Yeah,
today.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
yeah.
your ladies did the show here. Thank you so much. I'll
Thank
be
Thank
you.
here
you,
forever.
Claudia. Thank you. You are such a bright light in this world, and I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. I want to say thank you as well to Anna Pereira, our CEO. She's like the goddess, the queen of the year, the wellness. Jeanette, that without her, that would be possible because she was the one that were scheduling all the interviews with the authors. So I'm very grateful. I hope everyone here that watching us and had the opportunity to get 25 tools for life in their hands or even with a Kindle, whatever you want to make your life easier and use this gift.
Yeah.
This is like a amazing gift that the Wellness Universe is providing to us through the stories with these amazing authors. And you can use this for make you a better person and give as a gift. We're having the Valentine's Day coming soon.
Yes,
Can be a gift as well, right? It's like everyone should have a chance to read the stories because, as you're saying, the moment that you share a story, it's when you're writing, it's a healing, but it's also a healing for us when you have a chance to be in touch, to connect with the stories and say, "Oh, I've been through that as well, so I'm not that problematic. I have this, and if she overcome this, I can overcome as well, and connect to resilience, to connect with all the amazing things that we are. As Jan was saying, we are perfect through the eyes of the God, you know. So I like to
yeah,
say, I'm not perfect, but I'm flawless.
yes,
Mm.
yeah. And can we thank also, you mentioned Anna, and
Of
wonderful,
course,
but can we also thank Laura
yeah,
Yes.
DeFranco of Brave Healer
of course, our
Productions, who
publisher,
published
yes.
this book? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Laura
Yeah.
is amazing
Yeah.
too. So they
Yeah.
are preparing the new 25 Tools for Transformation. So once again, if you want to join us for the next book to this new beautiful journey, please reach out
yeah.
and make sure you get a copy of the Wellness Universe. We have the link here in our profile, the Instagram. Thank you so much, ladies, for your time. Thank you so much for sharing with us your tools, your story. I am really profoundly grateful for you.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much, Claudia. And thank you for your patience with me. I know getting here has been challenging.
Not at all. You're amazing. It was the moment was now, and today
It was
Jen
clear
and
as
Jean
soon as
felt.
I started listening to Jean, I was like, oh, this is why this fell the way that
I
it
love
did.
you.
We were destined to be here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
perfect just the way it is.
yeah.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.